And we continue now with Dr. James Dobson. He's the founder of Focus on the Family. Dr. Dobson, the president said, as we all know, that America is not a Christian nation. Why do I... every other president had suggested we were. Our founders and framers suggested we were. What did you think when you heard that, and how would you answer him and tell him otherwise?
Well, Sean, it would. I would really like to hear the question asked and answered in a different way. Whether or not we're a Christian nation is not the issue. The issue is, did we have Christian roots, and has that influenced, the Judeo Christian value system influenced our law, our Constitution, and our way of life? And it has. And he implied that there was a kind of a theological equivalence between Christianity and all the other religions of the world on that issue, and that's not true. The United States has been from the beginning greatly influenced and primarily influenced by the Judeo-Christian system of values, and that is still accurate.
The whole premise that we're endowed by our Creator is predicated on Judeo-Christian ethics. Every single one of our founders and framers, they all knew that, and they wrote extensively about it, including so-called deists like Jefferson and others. They suggested it. Woodrow Wilson, Harry Truman, Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush, they all understood this. When he says this, though, does that scare you that he really doesn't understand, you know, the principles that, you know, every human soul is endowed by their Creator, and that living under freedom, they will self-actualize and they will advance the human condition? Does that bother you that he doesn't seem to get that?
It does bother me, and it also bothers me that he doesn't seem to understand those Judeo-Christian values and roots. You know, we were talking before the break about the traditional family, for example. I wish if you will permit me, 30 states have voted on whether to define marriage differently, as being between a man and a woman exclusively, or between two men and two women. 30 states have voted on that, including 3 states in the last election, Arizona, Florida, and California. Every single one of those states has voted to put in the Constitution that marriage was exclusively between a man and a woman. That's a Judeo-Christian system of values. It influences who we are and how we think, and I'm not sure that the president understood that when he made that comment.
The Department of Homeland Security, Dr. Dobson, is warning law enforcement officials about the rise in right-wing extremist activity. Now, for example, they would define it as people that maybe think we're not controlling our borders, people that have pro-life bumper stickers. I'm not Ron Paul's biggest fan, but if you have a Ron Paul bumper sticker, you might be viewed as a radical by the government. And I'm thinking, what do you think of that interpretation, especially coming from a guy that started his political career in the home of an unrepentant terrorist who bombed our Pentagon and Capitol and sat in Reverend Wright's church for 20 years?
Isn't it interesting that the media has jumped all over this when there aren't any examples of it? There are no Timothy McVeighs out there right now. They're making a big deal out of something that hasn't happened and may not happen. They were also saying today that when the troops come back from Iraq or Afghanistan, that they're going to be a big problem because they have military training. Well, you know, the war didn't just start. It's been going on for 8 years. And they're trying to create an issue out of what, to this point, is a non-issue, and I think for political purposes.
What did you think of Barack Obama's comments that America is arrogant, apologizing for America, and seemingly even apologizing for the Iraq war by saying, well, we're not at war with Islam? Well, no one ever said we were at war with Islam, but radical Islam. What does that mean to you if a president of the United States, it sounds to me like he shares Wright's views that America's chickens have come home to roost?
It almost sounds like Jeremiah Wright in that instance. And, you know, there's been an understanding by presidents down through history from the very beginning that that kind of criticism does not go beyond the water's edge. And for him to be on foreign soil with people who have been very, very critical of this country and its president and its military and its people, for him to make that statement deeply offended me. And what bothers me more is there wasn't a greater outcry to it than I would have expected.
All right, Dr. Dobson, we really appreciate you being back on the program. Glad you're not in retirement, by the way. And
I'm not retired.
I understand you're writing a new book.
I am, and I've been away from the office for 4 months on a sabbatical, bringing up girls. I'm telling you, little girls are complicated creatures, and I'm really enjoying writing this book.
I got a 7-year-old, and it's a follow-up, obviously, to Bringing Up Boys, which was a mega bestseller. So, Dr. Dobson, good to see you. Thank you for being with us. Come on off.
Thanks for having me back.